Hello and welcome back to Get Great at Maths. I'm here to help you pass your maths exam, so hit that like and subscribe button. We're going to look at keywords, key formulas and how to gain top marks. So let's get ready to get great at maths. This is a question on finding the mean. The keywords in the question are, you're told that you've got 4 decades, and you can see these 4 decades in the table on the left hand side. So you've got 1, 2, 3, 4 decades. And you've got to work out the mean of the number of people who finished the marathon, and you've got to round your answer to the nearest 100. Your answer needs to be written in the box here, and then this will give you 3 marks. This is worth a lot of marks in the exam, one of the biggest mark questions on the exam paper, and you need to be able to know the method, and you need to be able to know the steps, and you need to be able to know how to round. So there's lots of marks here. So your key facts. The mean, you need to add up all the values and then divide by how many values there are. So in this case, you need to add up all these numbers and divide by how many values there are, which is the 4 decades which you're told is in the question. So you're going to be dividing by 4. Remember, when you divide by 4, you can halve a number and halve it again, or you can use the bus stop method, whichever works for you. Once you've got that answer, you need to round it to the nearest 100. So when we're rounding to the nearest 100, we need to be looking at the tens column. So this is the number here, for example, in the 6. So we've got 6 tens. And if the number is 5 or more, then that means the number in the hundreds column gets rounded up. So in this case here, the 6 is more than 5. So that would make this 8 and 9. So it would end in 900. So 24,900. In this case here, we're looking at the 2. So if I look at the 2 is less than 5. So if it's less than 5, you keep the number the same in the hundreds column. So this would give me 282,400 if I was going to round this to the nearest 100. So you need to be able to round, and you need to be able to work out the mean, and you need to be able to do it accurately to get the 3 marks on the exam. Have a go at working out the mean, then round your answer to the nearest 100. Write your answer in the box and then press play when you're ready to hear the answer. Great work, guys. Hopefully you've managed to get an answer. And remember, it does say on the left-hand side of the box, you must show your method. That means writing down what you are doing to get the answer. So that is what your method is. So to start with, we need to look at these 4 numbers. So we've got 24,863. 170,932, 282,420, 350,824. So we need to write down these 4 numbers here, and we need to add them up. So we're going to start off with the right hand side when we're adding. So we've got 3 plus 2 is 5, plus 0 plus 4 will give me 9, and that gets written underneath. I've got 6 plus 3 is 9, plus 2 is 11, plus another 2 is 13. So we carry the 1 of the 13, the tens, and the 3 gets written underneath. Now we're going to look at these numbers added together. We've got to add all these. Now if we look at them, I know 8 plus 8 is 16. 9 plus the 1 is a number bond to 10, so that's 10. So I've got 16 plus the 10, which is 26. Plus the 4 gives me a 30. So I carry the 3 over here and the 0 for 30. Then I've got a 4 plus 2 is 6. Plus 3 gives me a 9. So that's just a 9 written underneath. Again, I'm looking for number bonds to 10. So I should know 2 plus 8 is 10. Plus 5 is 15. Plus the 7. So we could take a 5 to make it to 20. If there's 2 left over, that will give me 22. So the 20 gets carried at the top and the 2 underneath. Then I've got 1 plus 2 is 3, plus 3 is 6, plus 2 gives me 8. So I've got 829,039. Now that is the total of all these numbers here. So you will get a mark for working out the total of all these numbers. Then you've got to divide it by 4. So to find the mean, we've got to divide this number by 4, and for getting the answer to this stage, that will give you your second mark. So I've now got to divide 4 into this number here. So 4 into 8 goes twice, so 2 gets written above the top. Then I've got to do 4 into 2, which doesn't go, so I put a 0 and there are 2 left over, so the little 2 carries. I've now got 4 into 29. Now 7 4s are 28, and there is going to be 1 left over to get to 29, so we carry 1 over. 4 into 10 is 2, and then there are 2 left over to make to 10, so from 8 to get to 10 is 2, so there's a little 2 carried over. 4 into 23, so 4 into 20 is 5, so 4 times 5 is 20. To make 23 is 3 left over. 4 into 39 is 9. Now 4 times 9 is 36, and we have got 3 left over. Now this time we've got to the end of a number. So when we get to the end of a number, we can include the decimal point. So if I include a decimal point, then I can put as many zeros as I like after a number, and this number will not be any different to what it was to start with. But now that little 3 that I carried over has got a meaning, because it is now 4 into 30. Now remember, if the decimal point is here after the 9, the decimal point will go in the same place above. So it'll be a decimal point here, and we're looking at putting 4 into 30. So that is going to be 7, because 7 times 4 is 28, and there is 2 left over to make it to 30. So the little 2 needs to carry over here. Now I'm looking at 4 into 20, which is 5. So I have got 207,259.75. Now this number here I have got to round to the nearest 100. So when I'm rounding to the nearest 100, I need to look at the tens column. So anything after the decimal point I can ignore. The tens column is this one here where the 5 is. So we're looking at this digit here, 5. Is it 5 or more? Yes. So that means if it is 5 or more, we round the hundreds column up. So rounding this hundreds column, so the 200 becomes a 3. So I've got 207,000. This becomes a 3. The next 2 digits become 0. Anything after the decimal point just disappears. And I'm left with 207,300 people. You can put a comma in there if you want to. It is not necessary. It's personal preference as to whether you like to write the comma or not. But just make sure it doesn't look like a number, or you can write it without decimal point to get the 3 marks. So you would get 1 mark for adding them, 1 for doing the division, and 1 for the rounding will give you the 3 marks in the exam. Give yourself a big tick if you managed to get this correct. There's a lot of method marks here to do this question, so make sure you know your method, you know how to do it, and you know how to round to get the full marks for the question. Well done. This question shows the mark scheme, and it's up to 3M, which means 3 marks. Now you get 3 marks for getting the correct answer of 207,300. If the answer is incorrect, you can get 2 marks for evidence of adding up the values and then dividing by 4. Or if you've written down any of these numbers that are written down here, you can get 1 mark for evidence of an appropriate method with more than 1 error. So the marks come from the method. So 1 for doing the adding, 1 for doing the dividing, and then 1 for the rounding. So you can get up to 2 method marks for doing any part of it correctly, but your final mark to get the full 3 marks, you needed to get the answer fully correct. If you found this video useful, please share, like and subscribe so we can all get great at maths. If you've enjoyed this video, please don't forget to share, like and subscribe. Please follow Get Great at Maths on TikTok, Instagram, Facebook and X. What do you want to see next on Get Great at Maths? Please comment below. See you next time.